the same time this is happening, you might get fluctuations on the trimeter. Well, that you can use as almost as a backup. We can't use instruments alone as evidence. We
Oh, I
have
agree totally with that.
absolutely what we need is human experience. If you didn't experience it and you're taking random pictures and you get a wisp or you get a shadow, but if you didn't see it, how come the camera did and you didn't? Because ghosts don't reflect light. They're energy, but they don't, reflect light, and that's how a camera works. In audio, I mean, they can, intelligent apparitions can project that audio into your mind, and they also, if they have any ability within their own consciousness on how to work mind over matter issues, PK or psychokinesis, they too can throw that voice onto a recorder or throw their imprint onto a camera. They can do that, but not all of them can. it's
Well,
a
it's
learned
kind,
it's a learned
yes,
thing.
it is a learned thing.
It's just
And
it's with humans, a live breathing
yes,
human.
well, it's
Not
just
all of
like
us.
not everybody knows that what their
Right.
level of psiability is.
Exactly. But it's pretty cool stuff. And that's where I'm at now.
Well, I'm glad that that's who you hooked up with because, in my opinion, there is no greater teacher
Absolutely not.
with a greater understanding who and the team through that group that Lloyd, well, he is the leader, I
Mhm.
feel. And he's a brilliant man. His book is basically the Bible of paranormal investigation. All of them are, but primarily the first one I got.
Mhm.
And I just find that he's so patient and so knowledgeable, and he is absolutely committed to sharing that knowledge. He doesn't keep anything hidden.
Nope. He's really good.
He is. He was one
Yeah.
of my very first interviews when, excuse me, when I started doing this 4 years ago.
Cool.
And I don't think that he really believed that I was that into his work. But because part of my job is to get him to tell people about what he does. And it was a fun conversation. Just one of my favorite interviews ever. And it went on, and we had the most terrible audio. I think he was my third show, maybe. And I was having to produce myself through Mixler. At the time I was on a another network, the first one I started with, and it was not conducive to training. So,
Hmm.
and it was a great experience though, because when I realized the opportunities, when I first was able to book Lloyd and realize the opportunities that were going to open as far as the educational side of what I do, I couldn't believe it. I got so excited and so thankful for the opportunity to do this show. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a ton of information. We still got a few more weeks to go. Hopefully, I'll pass everything because I am going for a grade. Um, you know, if that happens and I do okay, I'll be put on a register at the Rhine as
Mm-hmm.
an available investigator that they would, refer people to in this area, whether it's here in Florida or back up in New York. So I'll be like a go-to person.
Yes.
So, and I'll have the credentials to do it, and hopefully the knowledge to actually, you know, do one professionally.
Well, I
Um,
tell you, if you're getting a certificate from Lloyd Auerbach and any of his organizations, you will be qualified to do that.
oh
But we
yeah,
are we
yeah.
are already up against our first break. I can't believe this is
Oh,
going
no
so
kidding.
quick, right?
Oh, wow.
So we'll be back. This is a 3-minute break, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Okie dokie.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello there and welcome back. I'm Kat Hobson, your host of Paranormal Experience Radio, joined by Bobby Osterhaudt, who is telling us about his experiences, what got him into the paranormal, and how great a time he is having learning even more from Lloyd Auerbach through the Rhine Institute. If you do not know who Lloyd Auerbach is, Google him. Go to Amazon, buy any of his books. You will never regret doing those things. And Bobby, welcome back. I am so enjoying hearing about your classes with him. And, you know, it's interesting when you said that you utilize psychics when you were doing paranormal investigations. I think that most people like to have that type of person with them because it's an easy way to validate what you may be getting. But sometimes it's not, because everybody, like you said, everybody has a different level of psi-ability, but sometimes people just like being the psychic,
right?
The medium, and those are not the same always.
No.
But
you gotta have if you're gonna work with a psychic, that psychic has to understand that you're doing an investigation. It's not about them. It's about trying to find solutions as to what's going on in a particular area. And also you got to be careful of those psychics who have a lot of cultural biases going. If they can separate themselves from, the biases of whatever it is, like religion, for example, if they can't exclude themselves from that and just focus on the task at hand, then they're not going to be that much use to you, because you're not looking for a religious thing. You're looking for the solving of a problem, and it, it gets real touchy, but you got to try to take away the cultural bias and just stick right to the task at hand. So if you can find a psychic that's willing to work with you on that level, work with you, and instead of not coming in and I am the psychic type, then it's a good find. And I had two of those years ago. The one lady, she's just too old to go out anymore, and my other friend, she moved away. This was a good handful of years ago. So I lost the two best psychics I ever worked with in my life. So and it's
frustrating when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it's life.
It is life.
So yeah, I mean, psychics are great if you can get one, and to help you understand and help go through the thought process of what's happening. I mean, you could do it on your own. It just takes a lot of detective work and a lot of analysis, because you got to understand what's happening and what's causing the thing to be happening to begin with, because you don't know if it's spiritual, you don't know if it's an intelligent type, or you don't know if it's a place memory, you don't know if it's a poltergeist, you don't know if it's people causing other people in the home to create things that are happening that they're totally unaware of. I mean, there's a lot of psychology behind this.
Yes.
So this comes with a lot of psychology. And it's that you also have to consider to have a good base in that psychology. My wife is a psychologist. She was a school psychologist, department chair of special ed department, one of the biggest school districts in New York. So I am blessed with that and some of her guidance in that. So that's where I have my base in psychology. Plus, even probably more importantly, the years I've worked in the prison system. You have to study people. I studied people a lot, in my career. You have to, try to understand what their next move is going to be, or, you know what I mean? You're in that situation every day. And I was in that situation for 35 and a half years. So, you had to try to understand the individual you were dealing with, and there's a lot of psychology there.
Well, I'll tell you, because when you were doing your job, those situations could, on a dime, become life or death.
Absolutely.
And you had to do quick reads, emergent needs.
Absolutely.
And, I have a girlfriend who retired in Ohio as a corrections officer after that long. When we go to Mansfield, I've only been with her once, but the people who are haunting Mansfield call her Red, and they recognize her when she comes. Mm-hmm. And I found that to be interesting and maybe a little alarming, because I was with her. So.
Well, it's strange. I never, ever, ever had an experience in prison. I've heard about things that have happened over the years.
Well, I don't know if she had an experience while she was working, but she has had them since she became an investigator. And I just find that they call her that. Of course, she is a ginger, so, but that's what they call her.
Yeah, I worked in one of the oldest prisons in New York when I first started. I worked there for 10 years. It was built in 1896 or 5, and they actually had dungeons there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, of course, they haven't been used in a million years, well, for a very long time. But, I used to go all through those areas down there, and of course, the prison itself was very old, and I went through the old logbooks in the basement, and I saw where someone did like 30 years for stealing a bicycle off a street in York City. And then they had, the mentally handicapped people there.